everyone, my name is Colin, and you are watching Classy. Alright, so today I kind of feel like talking about ball pythons, these guys right here, because there's just so much to talk about them. Alright, so to start off with, I needed to explain to you guys how ball pythons came into the picture and everything. Alright, so back in like the 80s and 90s, when corn snakes and, believe it or not, Burmese pythons were really big and they were really in. And there were a few ball pythons over here, but they were all normals because no morphs had been discovered at that time. And then, the first albinos and the first piebalds came into the picture. And ball pythons kind of went from nothing to, they started going, the market for them just jumped. And it was amazing because all these new things were being found and it all happened really quick. And so there were just so many new morphs, and the prices for them, the first things were just create like $50,000, $100,000 snakes for a piebald. And these things are just insane. And so everybody had this huge interest in them, and it was just awesome. And that's how ball pythons came into the picture, and still today, it's kind of, you can argue about it, but I think they're kind of the reigning champs of the snake breeding industry, just for the reasons I'm about to explain. Alright, so probably, in my opinion, the #1 reason why these guys are so popular is exactly what their name implies. Ball pythons. You see this? This is where ball pythons get their name. Ball pythons are a good snake because most snakes' defense is to bite, because that is their only defense, really, besides musking things, but their real main defense mainly is to bite. Ball pythons, that's not the case. Ball pythons' defense is to roll themselves in a ball, like this, with their head in the center, to where a predator couldn't really get to it, because I guess they're not smart enough to unravel this. But this is why ball pythons have their name, ball python, because they get in a ball like this when they're scared. This is their defense, not to bite. So it's kind of very rare for a ball python to ever bite you. See his head right there? See, they're not hard to unravel. I mean, I could just do that right there. She'll probably just ravel herself back up in a ball. But yeah, you see her going back into her ball there. But yes, ball pythons are very naturally tame animals, because their defense is to just ball up and hide, and it's not to be aggressive. So they can make very good pets because they're not aggressive in that area. And also because you can definitely tame them down with just a little bit of handling so that they don't ball up like this. And if they ever do ball up, I mean, you can just unravel them, you see. And you can just handle them just fine. And see, now she's going to move around a little bit. She's going to get curious, and she's going to explore a little bit now that she's unraveled. So that's one reason why ball pythons are so popular, is just their attitudes. Because even, like, I hardly handle this snake ever because it's a breeder for me, not really a pet. And so you can just see it. I maybe handle it once, twice a week, and this is how tame it is. You know, it's just awesome. This is just totally natural. This is just how they are. This is just ball pythons, how tame they are. It's just awesome. Alright, now the next thing that I think why they're so popular is because of their size. Now this right here is almost an adult, a full-grown ball python. Alright, you see she's probably about 4 foot. She's not quite done growing, but she's getting close. Alright, see, she's not even getting on the camera. But you know, ball pythons, they're not huge snakes, but then again, they're not tiny snakes like you kind of think of a corn snake. It's about the same length, but these guys are a lot thicker. They're a lot more heavy-bodied. They're made for sitting on the ground and going underground in little mice things and rat dens and finding them and just sitting there. They're heavy-bodied snakes. I can't even get my hand all the way around her. But yeah, so they're very heavy-bodied snakes, and that makes them a little bit more durable compared to more colubrids that are a little bit thinner, and they're going to be a lot quicker. Ball pythons are so slow that they could never get away from you unless you ignored them. If you're paying attention, they can't outrun you. Like I can imagine some like darter snakes and things that could probably get away from you. Colubrids, they're a lot thinner than these guys, and these guys, they don't get huge. Like this is, like I said, this is about the adult size, and so you know, I don't think that one of these could ever, I'm sure it probably could kill somebody strangling them, but most people have the ability to take them off of your neck. You're probably strong enough to take an adult off your neck if it was if there's ever some crazy possibility that it was super hungry and for whatever reason, I don't even know why it would even attempt that, because it obviously is not going to try to waste its energy on you trying to kill you when you're way bigger than it. It knows it can't eat you. But I know people have these fears, and an adult ball python, I'm sure if you just let it, it could probably do that. But most people are stronger than it, like that, and you can take it right off. So that's not really an issue. Compared to, say, a Burmese python or a reticulated python, the bigger snakes, maybe even a boa constrictor, if that got around you and for whatever reason wanted to constrict you, you would have a very difficult time on your own getting it off. Especially the Burms and the retics, because, you know, they could probably eat you, and they could definitely kill you by constricting. But ball pythons, not so much. Not so much. And like I said again, the chances of it ever wanting to do that are just so slim. Just so slim, it's unreal. I don't have any fear putting this girl around my neck. I'm just fine with her around my neck. So, and I've never been constricted before, but I'm sure it could happen every once in a blue moon or whatever. I'm sure it might happen, but then again, I think you'd be able to pull them off. The average human is strong enough to pull them off like that. Right now, on that last topic, again, this is about a month-old baby, and so you see they're very tiny, very cute as babies. But when I brought this girl out, this is supposedly a normal. Another big reason why ball pythons are so popular is because of all the different morphs out there. And today, the price is decent. So, like I've been showing you in the last few animals I had out, I had a piebald, a butter ghost, pinstripe, and you know, you can look on the internet, but there are probably, I don't even know, there's tons of morphs, like just tons. And so, you know, and the prices, about anybody can get them. A normal, you can get a normal for free if you just want a normal. Male pastel ball python, which would probably be the least expensive morph, you could probably get for 50 bucks. And then, you know, it goes up to the most expensive ones, which are probably like $100,000. So, you know, and anywhere in between. You know, the average morph is going to be probably $300 to $400, and that's for a decent morph. Alright, next that kind of goes along with the morphs and things is, well, this is a super pastel here, just another example. And the next thing is breeding. Now, ball pythons are super popular because of how easy it is to breed them. You basically just lower the temperatures and put them in together, and they just kind of do their own thing. It's pretty easy, and like some other species that you have to go through so many steps, and you might die, and there's so many things, and it's this and that and this and that, and it's kind of difficult. It's kind of stressful on you and the animals. And ball pythons, they're just easy. Alright, so, and then with the breeding, you can do so many things. Like, this is a super pastel, which, like I mentioned before, a pastel is like $50, maybe $100 for a female. If you breed two together, it's the codominant gene, and you get this really pretty bright yellow. Now, if you were to breed a pastel to a spider, then you would get something like this, which is a bumblebee. And if you bred a bumblebee to another pastel, you would get a killer bee, which is like super yellow and white, and it has this cool spider pattern on it here. You see, like, it looks like a spider web pattern on it, which is pretty cool. That's a bumblebee. And then if you bred this bumblebee, like I said, to another pastel gene, then it gets another pastel gene in it, and it would be a killer bee. Like I said, those are pretty cool. And you know, you can just keep stacking on morphs. You could add a pinstripe, and you can add a butter, you can add piebald, you can add, you know, whatever you want. And you can just keep stacking and stacking. Of course, your chances get less and less, and that's what's fun about it, trying to get that 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever gene animal that you're looking for. And I mean, every time you add another gene to an animal, it gains a lot of value. And those things are just so much fun, just trying to hit on that one every year. It's just, if you get a project worked out like that, where you're trying to just make some cool things, then it's just a lot of fun. And you know, there's quite a bit of money involved in those more high expensive projects, because you know, there's a lot of money you've invested in it already, and you're putting a lot of time, and the product is going to be well worth it. Right now, another example, if you just wanted to kind of go with a little more simple project, you could breed, say, a piebald to a piebald. And because piebald gene is recessive, that means that all of the babies would look like this. And piebalds are kind of a unique morph because they can range in the amount of white on them and the amount of color and what their color is. And so piebalds can range anywhere from, if it's a really low white and not a very pretty piebald, they could be like probably 500. Or if I've seen ones that have all white except for their head and a little speck on their tail, those can go up to 1400. And then if you add another morph into this, say like you added that pastel gene or that pastel spider gene, and you made this you made the pattern part here a bumblebee, which would look they just look awesome. And so it's white and it's got that yellow whitish pattern on it, and it's just amazing. Now those morphs, those are the ones that go for $3,000 or $4,000. You know, those are some really cool things that you can do. But then there's always these simple combinations that will just kind of guarantee you results, because, you know, piebald to piebald, that's a pretty cool pairing. It's pretty basic, pretty cool though. Alright, now another reason ball pythons are so popular is because of their ease of care. Their maintenance and their housing, everything is so simple. It's awesome. So this is an adult ball python setup, but they can be kept in their entire life. This tub right here, which they have a hide, which is optional. Most people don't bother to give them a hide, but I do, because I just think it makes them feel more secure. I think it makes them feed a little bit better, and so I give them the hide. And also, I give them, which is required, a water bowl, and they have to have a water bowl, obviously. Change that once a week. And their bedding, which is kind of controversial, which kind of bedding you want to go with. I use Repti bark, and you have to keep it semi-humid, and I have holes drilled in the side for airflow, and on the back of my rack there, you can't really see it, but towards the back is a strip of heat tape, and it's kept at the back end of the tub at 90 degrees, and the front is just room temperature of about 70 or so. And they can migrate. If they're warm, they can come to the front. If they're cold, they can go to the back and warm up. And, you know, you feed them twice a week, however really much you want. You should feed them at least once a week. And that's about it. That's about all it is. And you can handle them as much as you want or as little as you want, but, you know, that's the care of a ball python. You just clean out the poop. They poop probably once a month or so, and, you know, that's about it. You shuffle around their bedding, change it out every so often, and you just, you know, you keep the thing generally clean, and it takes about 5 minutes a week for general maintenance. So, you know, they shed every so often, so that's, you know, but there's not that much work involved. They just kind of do their own thing. So there's really not much work to be done with these guys, which is why they're so cool and everything. Okay, one last thing that I have to mention is their feeding response. Now, ball pythons can be kind of iffy in this area, but it was a rumor back a long time ago when first ball pythons were being brought over. Wild-caught ball pythons are terrible eaters. Don't ever buy a wild-caught ball python unless you have a lot of experience and you're planning on putting a lot of time into it, because they're bad eaters. Alright, now, then they found out captive-bred, captive-born ball pythons just do fine. They do great. If you know how to keep them, you know, they will eat like champs. Like this girl, she eats like a champ, you know. Almost all my ball pythons do. Now, there are individuals that they aren't good eaters, and they just take a little more time. Like I have my female piebald I just showed you. She has eaten mice all of her life, and it's best to switch them over to rats at birth. I just don't like to ever feed them mice. Rats are way healthier, and they will grow much faster on rats than mice. So this girl has never eaten a mouse in her life. She eats twice a week. She eats a rat twice a week, and that's awesome. She's going to grow really quick. And snakes like these, almost all of them are like this, especially babies have quite a bit of a feeding response, so that's pretty cool. Most ball pythons will eat just fine for you. Like I said, there's always those picky eaters, and there'll always be that way, so, you know, you just got to work with it and learn how to deal with these. Alright, now you guys know I could just go on and on and on about ball pythons. By the way, this is an Xanthic, just another morph, show you guys all the different kinds. But yeah, I could just go on and on and on about ball pythons forever. And if you guys want to talk ball pythons, message me, leave me a comment, whatever. I can answer quite a few questions, so just message me. And always remember that any problem can be solved with experience. You know, I came into this just like anybody else 3 years ago, and you know, you just learn as you go. So if you want to talk about morphs, genetics, health, whatever, message me, and I will definitely message you back. So hope you guys enjoyed learning about ball pythons today. Alright, so for the pup of the week this week, it's going to be this little guy, or I should say little girl, because I've never seen this color on a rat before. I mentioned her in the last video, but it's kind of a cool color. I'm going to raise her up. That has been your pup of the week. Okay, here's something that I felt that I just needed to show you guys, because just last week I talked about how random breeding rats can be. You see there's two albino females in here, and they were bred to almost all black rats, males. Now if you see the babies back here in the corner, if you take note of their color, that's a normal, that's a brown. Every single baby in here is brown. This one right here is the one with the most white on it. And that's still about 50-50, you know? So two all-white females bred to two half and half dark colored males can make almost a all solid normal litter. That's just it's random like that, and it's not like that every time with these girls. Sometimes they'll have albinos just like them, but it wasn't the case this time. And I think this is just, it's a lot of fun breeding things like this and just having this come out, because it's kind of unusual. You wouldn't suspect that two all-white females would have babies all colored like that. That's just kind of interesting to me. She's getting on them there. Alright, last week I asked you guys, what was your favorite animal? And these are some of the responses I got. I thought it was pretty interesting learning what you guys think your favorite animals, so that was kind of cool. Alright, so this week though, I'm going to ask you, it's going to be kind of a vote thing. Why do you like ball pythons? Your number one reason why you like ball pythons, if you had to choose just one. Alright, so your first option is their general size. And that's just, you know, you like their size. Next option is their attitude. Alright, so you like just their general attitude. Your third option is their ease of care, their housing. So, yeah. The fourth option is the price and general market of ball pythons. And your fifth option is all the available morphs out there right now. So leave a comment, just a one-word comment of what I have right now on the screen, and one of the five, leave it in a comment. If everybody who watches this video leaves a comment, next week should be really interesting, because I want to find out what you guys think, why you like ball pythons, so that should be cool. Alright, and this is just kind of a response. If you guys watch Snake Bites TV, you should definitely check them out. Here is a link to their page. They are awesome. They are just awesome. I can't shout them out enough. So go over there and check them out. But recently they kind of had a contest over quite a few different snakes. Which ones you guys think is the best? And ball pythons won, and the final thing, it was ball pythons versus boa constrictors, and ball pythons won. So I kind of expected that, but they won, and so they did a video over it. Check it out right here. It's just kind of a cool video. You should check those guys out. Alright, so till next Monday, I will see you guys later, and you've been watching Classy.